Yeah, it's GOAT, Edison, Modern. No, I say GOAT, Edison, personally, Tengu. There is a fan base out there for hat formats. And then other than hat formats, I would say Toss, which is ironic because people do not like Toss at the time when Toss was happening. But here's what I'm talking about here. So for event duels, this shouldn't be empty. It shouldn't be. Why is it there's only like an event or two coming up like once a month? To me is absolutely crazy here. There should be always something constantly happening. There should be a GOAT format over here. There should be Edison, Tengu Plants, Hat, Toss format, Modern format. And there should be its own rank system in those own spots. But no, for Yu-Gi Master Duels, in order for this game to really like be constantly engaging, there should be no reason why there shouldn't be like GOAT format, Edison, Tengu Plant, Hat, Modern, 2018 format, 19 format. There should be always events happening here. And an issue right now with the current Yu-Gi-Oh! IRL and Master Duels is that it feels very bland. It's weird because we have more players now than ever. There are more people trying out Yu-Gi-Oh! More than it's ever been. There's been more events happening, more people appearing to those events, more people watching Yu-Gi-Oh! As a result of like big time streamers streaming the game. But yet, like at the same time though, the game is in a place where it's really bland and boring. There's a lot you can learn. Like here's the thing. Every Yu-Gi-Oh! Player in the world does not know every single deck. That's a fact, right? There's always something to learn about this game. You could play this game for like 20 years and you will never know all the ins and outs of this game here, right? You'll not know all the rulings, you'll not know all the monsters. There's always something to learn about this game, yet it feels bland. And the reason why it feels bland, because there's nothing motivating or pushing a person to go really want to learn. And I think one way to really do that would have to be having more events in this spot here. It shouldn't be one event or two events per month. It should be a constant rotation of events happening. If they have a timer here where it's like every 5 days, the event changes, like that would be really sick, actually, in my opinion here. Like you could, like it'd be good. Or you could have anime deck, like anime themed decks, where you can pick Kaiba, you can pick Ben, Keith, or Yugi, and you can play that. And there's nothing wrong doing that, right? If you bring somebody, let's say right now, let's say there's somebody from like 2010, because 2010 is Edison format, and that really is where Synchros really popped off, and that's where like people just stopped caring about Yu-Gi-Oh! And like in the main zeitgeist, alright then? So here's the thing, if you brought somebody from 2010 to like, and you're telling them to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh!, they would not know any of this stuff here, man. Maybe volcanics, but if I told them, hey, no, maybe assault mode, maybe, but they wouldn't know what Trickstar is, they wouldn't know what Vanadium is though. They'll recognize the Blue Eyes deck, they're not gonna recognize the Lunite deck here, they wouldn't recognize Sky Strikers. Like all of this here, why would a casual person who's outside of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Like community care one bit at all about playing any of this stuff here? Maybe Sacred Beast, maybe they'll try Sacred Beast because they've heard of it. And so you want to create a format built around trying to appeal to people like Ron, or even people like Charlie Penguins, or Sayako, where it's like appeal and make formats built around them and their enjoyment here. Stop trying to appease to people who are within like the main core of the community. The stream chart has a lower player count though. It's not getting higher. You're right, it is not getting higher, but but that's every game. Every single game that's ever been released, for the most part. Everybody generally knows Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright then? Yu-Gi-Oh! To me is like Simpsons or Family Guy or like Pokemon, where everybody knows what it is, right? You have a good idea on what it is, but you're not really deep into it. Like not everybody knows every like Simpsons joke or every SpongeBob joke, but you know Homer Simpson, you know about Mr. Burns, you know about SpongeBob. It's one of those where like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is incredibly popular, and I think a lot of people generally know it. But your perception of it goes only on the surface level. And my idea though is to make Yu-Gi-Oh! Become better, you have to make the game appeal to people who are into Yu-Gi-Oh! Only at the surface level. Instead, you're telling them to like go rank up and play like tier limits or Snake Eyes. It's ridiculous. Like, okay, so for as much as people want to complain about that one time where Blue Eyes was a world championship level deck here, that was like one of the best things that ever happened in Yu-Gi-Oh! Alright then? Like, the best thing that can happen in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is having the best deck in your entire game be a deck that, or have cards that people will recognize who are outside the community, alright? Like, honestly, who cares if Snake Eyes and Tier Limits becomes the best deck in the game? Who cares about that, right? That's not gonna bring in anybody. Like, Snake Eyes being a good deck will not bring in will not convince Raron or like Penguins to like really be invested in the game. It's not. They're not. I believe that if you make a Snake Eyes anime, more people will get into Snake Eyes in the actual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what I believe. Like competitive viability and what's actually happening in tournaments and how good a deck is serves no purpose other than to preach to the choir. It doesn't do anything at all in terms of getting people within the community or have them stay there. It doesn't. And if you make a super overpowered strong deck, it then scares people away. So really, like, I really hate it when like people are like, we gotta make the game good. How do you make the game good? By like balance issues. Well, that's not gonna like really make the game any good. You're just power creeping it, but it's not gonna make the game any better in terms of like appealing to a mass market. It's not gonna do that.